Well, good morning and welcome. Glad to see Bob here and Gretchen. Where I am at the moment, I can see little patches of blue between the white clouds, but I know that where Gretchen is in beautiful Puerto Peñasco, Sonora, Mexico, it has been raining because I have ways of knowing that. So, I see that the Phil and Phyllis show are here. Good to see you guys. And Kurt. So I'm going to give Kurt and Bob permission to help when they think I need help on this topic because in many aspects they are more knowledgeable and experienced in this topic than I am. So guys, don't hesitate to pitch in. You won't be bothering me at all. So you're probably wondering why we are here today. Besides that we can greet Bob and Kurt and Gretchen and Phil and Phyllis and last but certainly not least, maybe not last, hopefully not last, Chris. Glad you guys took time out of your schedule to have GoFor Lunch with me. So today we're going to talk about You've Been Processed. This is GoFor Lunch number 69. So if you are new here, please type new in the comments so we can get to know you, and we're happy to have you join our happy little community. If you are new, you may not know, I'm Roger Harmon with GoFor Technology, and our mission is to make your technology work for you. And of course, that's what we do every Tuesday at high noon on GoFor Lunch. But first, this breaking news. Zoom has updated again. The current version is 5.7.8. So just a little review. To update your Zoom, you go to the upper, where's my, let's see, over there. The upper, no, the over there. It's backwards. To the upper left-hand corner of your screen when Zoom is active, and then you slide down and check for updates, and of course it'll tell you whether you need to update or not, and just go ahead and update. Earlier this morning, I got an email from Zoom, and they had 2 points they wanted to let us know about. Number one is that starting in November, so about 2 months away, you have to have your Zoom updated within the last 9 months. Now, needless to say, that's not a very high bar that they've set there. So I'm pretty sure everybody here has got a Zoom that is more recent than 9 months ago. But the other nice thing that they are doing starting next month is that they are going to prompt you to update. So every time they put out an update, they will check your version, and if you're not up to date, they will send you a little message. So I just wanted to have you be aware that this message is going to be coming, and it's legitimate, so don't worry about it. Just go ahead and follow their instructions and keep your Zoom up to date. So that is great news. And I see that Helen has joined us. Hello, Helen. And Stanley's here. How you doing, Stanley? Good to see you. So, you've been processed. So last week we talked about capturing those images in your iPhone or your iPad and then getting them out in the highest quality possible to be printed so you could actually hand it to somebody. Needless to say, a framed image makes a great gift. It's personalized, but you don't want to wait till the last minute to get those things put together because you need to put a little work into it, a little thought to get the best quality gift that you can give. And again, you can review last week to get the iPhone settings that will help you get the high quality image to begin with, because the image will only get worse when you process it. It won't get any better usually. So you need to get it as good as you can to start. So today we're going to talk about where to get these images printed. Of course, if you have an inkjet printer in your home, you can certainly use that. We often caution you about inkjet printers here in the Sonoran Desert because if you don't use them like about once a week, those cartridges can dry out. Then you have to go buy a new cartridge or set of cartridges in the neighborhood of $50 to $60, and you didn't get full use. You didn't get your money's worth out of the cartridges you've had because they dried out before they were empty. So that is a problem with inkjet printers. Also, the archival quality of inkjet ink may not be that great. What that means is, if you put your print up on the wall in a frame and there's sunlight in the room, it might be fading that inkjet print. So that's another thing to consider. A color laser printer is another way that you can print from home if you do a lot of printing. It doesn't have the disadvantage of drying out. It is a little more expensive for the supplies, but probably maybe a break even, or you might be ahead of the game over replacing inkjet cartridges that don't get used up before they dry out. So I often recommend to people to get a monochrome laser jet printer. It just prints black text on whatever kind of paper you want, and it doesn't dry out, so your cost per page is much less than inkjet, and you don't have that hassle of not being there when you need it. In typical use, a LaserJet toner cartridge will last a year or more, depending on how much printing you do. So then when you do need a color print, you can just go to a local processor and get it within between an hour and a day usually. So that's something to consider. Get a LaserJet printer, or a laser printer I should say, LaserJet being a brand name, and then just use a local processor down in the corner and you can get those color prints done and you'll be money ahead. You can also go to an online processor, so that is something we're going to look into in detail here in just a moment. Another option is printing directly from your Apple Photos app. This used to be built in to iPhoto, and I don't know, maybe Bob or Chris or Kurt can remind me whether it was ever built in to Photos. I don't remember, but it can be. So what you can do is go to the App Store and get one of 3 apps that I know of. There may be more. One is called Mimeo. Another one is called Motif. Now these companies actually did the printing for Apple when it was built into iPhoto. So it's the same exact companies. They were pretty well known for good quality. So you can add this feature back in to Photos, and then you can just print directly from your Photos app to these 2 companies. Or wait, there's even a 3rd company. I don't know that much about White Wall, but I would go to the App Store, the Mac App Store, and read the reviews and make your choice based on what other people are saying. So if you need help with that, I'm always here to help you set that up. Once you get it set up, it'll be fairly simple to do. So let's talk a little bit more about local printers. So there's the one on the corner, but then there's the one that is a more professional local printer, and one of those is called Centric Photo. So let's go look at the Centric Photo website here. So as you can see up here in the top, they do a lot of different things with your image. So they can do a lot of stuff. They can even take your shoebox full of already printed photos and digitize those. So if you have one of those shoe boxes laying around, or several, you can check with them about getting those digitized. You can also get your image framed at the same time as they process it. So they have over 1,000 custom frame moldings and ready-made frames. So they have a complete custom framing department. And it's pretty simple to use. You just click here where it says File Upload, and your pictures go up to Centric, and then they come back however you tell them to bring them back. So they do a lot of different things, like a printing on metal, aluminum, or other kinds of metal. Bob Wood mentioned that Canvas is a good way. If you have a photo that's not great, but you really love the photo, the image is not, or quality is not great, printing it on Canvas kind of makes up for that lack of quality, but still provides you with a very gift-worthy picture. So let's go back to the website here and see what else they can do for us. So they have fine art papers. You can print on plexiglass. I'm assuming plexi means plexiglass. Don't you love the way people keep abbreviating everything these days? And then you can choose the different kinds of photo paper that you want, so you can get the real look that you're after. You can even print on clear, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that word, film. And you can print on something that can become a wall piece with repositionable adhesive. Say that 3 times fast. So as you can see, as I said, they even do quick prints. So they'll do what Walgreens will do for you. So it might be something to look at after. They're on Pima near Alverdon, 4001 East Pima. So they are local, and I always like to visit my local merchants because a lot of the money stays here in Tucson, unlike these other places. So you can see that they do lots of things. Some things we've never even heard of. Oh, this is, okay, I know what that is. Okay, and then I'm not sure what they're doing here, but anyway. So that is Centric Photo. Certainly worthy of your consideration. Another local outfit is Photographic Works. So they, again, can do very quality work. They may not have all the services that Centric does. I don't know. I didn't really look at them that closely. So, and then the other one here locally is Jones Photo. So they've been around forever, and I don't have any reading on their current level of quality work, but they are certainly a local option. So Chris says, so that's interesting. How did I get to that? Okay, Chris says that Centric does printing for Tucson Medical Center's donated images, the ones we see in the corridors. So they are first class. So that's good, Chris. Glad to know that. And Kurt says an artist friend of his likes Graphic Impact for printing. So there's a 4th choice here locally. So Graphic Impact is on Speedway. So I'm sure you can find any of those by searching with DuckDuckGo. So then we have the chain stores, of course. CVS, Walgreens, Target, Walmart, and Costco. So these are great when you need your prints quickly, or you need maybe a bunch of prints of the same image, 25 wallet-sized photos or something like that. And we're going to talk about the quality of using this particular type of service in just a moment, so stay tuned. Then we have the online services. So here's a interesting phenomena that I discovered in researching for this program, and that is that the services online that most of these 5 different sites that I looked at, which are, by the way, down here, down there in the remarks in the comments down below, you will see the links to the 5 sites that I looked at. 5 well-known sites, highly regarded, so you can dig deeper into this by taking advantage of those links right there. And one of the sites that several of them liked was Nation's Photo Lab. Another one that came up often was MPix. And then there was Adorama's Printique. So those are some national sites that you can look at. Then if you want to print on, so if you want to print on a coffee cup, or you want to print on a t-shirt, or kitchen towel, I don't know what they print on. So lots of different things you can print your image on for a gift. A company like Snapfish is certainly a good one to look at, and also one called Shutterfly. Now I do have some direct experience with Shutterfly. I have a client that put up all her family pictures up on Shutterfly, so it's kind of like your own personal website without having to do all the background work for websites. And in fact, we are printing a book now of those pictures, and we're going to have a spiral bound book because she's got a lot of pictures, like 260 some odd pictures. So it is a little bit more than Shutterfly can handle. We're actually using Office Depot. So we're still in the process of that project. So let's talk about books, shall we? Let's look at this book right here, which I published through Shutterfly. So as you can see, we have a nice photo on the front and 4 different photos on the back. And then you can barely see there's a little starfish right here. And so this is a template that was on the Shutterfly website that I just kind of filled in the blanks. So it's very nicely done. You can see it's nicely bound, and it kind of sits flat, I guess. And then it's got very nice paper. I don't know if you could see the texture. Yeah, maybe a little bit. But anyway, this, take my word for it, this paper here on the inside is very nice, quality stuff. And then a part of the template was this graphic where you can fill in your destination and the date that you went there. And then again, there's a nice subtle background here. And then here's the first page, so I just put in my pictures. And this wording, Paradise Found, was part of the template. I put in the text here. So you can see it came out to be a very nice book. They have, different graphics, and even this circle right here, which I was able to insert to point out a specific part of a photo. And the quality was as good as the images I presented. So I was just looking through this. I'm not sure you can, again, I should stop saying that, but you see the pelicans here? That picture looked really, really good. It came out very good. And again, it was because I put in a good image. So it came out that way. Anyway, so you can see here, I'll just flip through it a little bit more. And so I was able to put in all the comments, the captions, and so a very nice book. Something that Gretchen can relate to. And again, a nice, paper on the back. So that's another way to take your images and put them together. Of course, calendars are a popular way to do that. Alexis, our producer, does a calendar every year. I'm not sure what she uses for that, but that is, let's see here. Gretchen has a question, so let's talk about that. Oh yeah, you could print on fabrics like cotton and use it in a quilt. Great idea. And then Gretchen wants to know, whoops, I don't know, I click on one and I get another one. Do you know of any sources in the Phoenix area? I do not. But what I would do is see if I would search on the internet for Phoenix photo clubs. I'm sure there's many of them up there, and they will have a website, and they will probably have recommendations, or maybe even be sponsored by some of the quality processing houses up there. And Bob says that he's had books done by Costco. So, and I'm sure the price was very reasonable at Costco. And Bob, whose wife is named Gretchen, by the way, has had the fabric printed for her art and for her quilts. So that's good. So let's talk about quality based on where you go. So we're going to flip back here to the internet, and this is Consumer Reports. I'm sure you've all heard of Consumer Reports. And this is from 2017. So I'm sorry I don't have anything more current, but this is to prove a point. So they went out there and sent sample prints to all these different places, and then they printed a little graph here, or a chart, to show you the results. Now, they used a Canon Pixma MG7720 and an Epson Expression Home XP440. Of course, these model numbers are probably no longer available, but have been replaced. And so the Canon got a score of 81. And the Epson, which again, this is surprising to me, because Epson has a reputation for being a good quality printer for printing your photographs at home. They got a score of 31. So that's a little suspicious to me. But wait, there's more. So here's our different companies down here in the left column. In the second column, they get a score. I don't know if you can see that very good because it is on the green background. And then they have prices for a 4x6 and an 8x10, and then features. So this, again, this link is in the section below. So you can look at this. I would definitely look at the feature part, and that would help you make a decision. Now, Walgreens is number 1. Adorama, which is only online, is number 2. I can go with that. Walmart is number 3. And Amazon, which was kind of bad-mouthed by most of the reviews that I saw, is number 4. CVS is number 5. Then we got Shutterfly and Snapfish coming in with a tie. And then we change colors for Costco at 72. And then 2 highly rated ones in the current reviews that I saw, Nation Photo Lab and MPix, are at the bottom of their list, getting a 68 and a 90. I'm sorry, a 54. So this is puzzling to me that they came up with these results. So again, I think what we need to do here is, well, I'll tell you what we're going to need to do about that in a second. But first, this important message from Alexis, our producer, who pointed out that image quality is, again, very important. And a JPEG is a lossy format, a little technical term, lossy. And it loses quality every time you copy it. So you want to make sure you get the original JPEG and send that off, and not something that's been transferred, 5 times different places, and definitely not something you pulled out of a social media site or someplace like that. Another thing to consider is that in your Photos app, you can export as a JPEG or as a TIFF. Now, a TIFF is a higher quality format than JPEG, so that's another thing to consider. Export as a TIFF if you're going to have to export it to get it to the processor. So here is the final conclusion. You pay your money and you take your chances. Now, that phrase has been around for a long time. We don't know who said that. At least I didn't research who said it, if in fact there is a name connected to that phrase. So the problem is, of course, with the local processors is that they vary from store to store. Newer stores have newer equipment, and older stores have older equipment. Some stores have people in their photo processing department that know what they're doing. Other stores, not so much. So you got to kind of maybe do some testing with your local store and see if you like the quality that you're getting. Of course, the local processing houses like Centrix and Photographic Works, and the one that Kurt mentioned, which is Graphic Impact, those are certainly ones that you could be fairly confident of getting good quality. And hey, if it doesn't work the way you think it should, they're right here. You can throw a brick. No, don't say that. No, we'll stop saying that. Let's see, what else we got? So Gretchen wants to know, is the paper in your book acid-free? I don't know, Gretchen. You could go to the Shutterfly website and check on their books and see what the specs are there. I don't remember, but I've had this book for, well, 4 or 5 years, and it looks pretty good, except for when you're using a green screen, then it looks weird. But other than that, and I don't recommend green screens, by the way. So do as I say, not as I do. And if you'd like to have a discussion on that, I'd be happy to go into that in great detail. Okay, and Bob, who is always the purveyor of wisdom, says, a wise man once said about photo printing, you got to be ready to throw out the first pancake. And that is very interesting. I think that's sage advice. And I don't feel out of focus, but it looks like I am out of focus. So let's see if we can get the camera to go back into focus. Well, maybe that's a sign that we're done here. I don't know. So let's ask this. Do you have any other questions or comments to add to this discussion or about anything? Also, I'm always looking for suggestions for future sessions, what you would like to know more about. And a little reminder to share the GoFor Gazette, which comes to you every Monday morning about 7 o'clock, with other people that you know that have Apple devices, so we can help them as well. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you can also click on that down below, the little bell, and you'll be advised when you, or I should say when I put a new video. Oh, I see why I'm doing that. Okay. I'm clicking in the wrong place, so we can't seem to get the camera to focus. Hello, you here? There we go. So the trials and tribulations of autofocus. So thank you for joining me. I don't see any other questions. Of course, if you do have a question after the fact, you can definitely call me or email me, and that information is coming up. So have a great week. Be careful out there. We got the remnants of Hurricane Nora coming to town, and so make sure if you have to drive, you drive very carefully, because we don't want to have any mishaps. Take care.